All right, guys, you have a video right here, a crazy one. This crazy lady, who I guess she's a judge, put a 6'2" repeat sexual assault offender in a women's prison simply because he wanted to be in a women's prison, because he decided to identify as a woman. Ted Cruz tears into this corrupt judge. Check it out.
So you took a 6'2" serial rapist, serial child rapist, with male genitalia, and he said, you know, I'd like to be in a women's prison. And your answer was, that sounds great to me. Let me ask you something. The other women in that prison, do they have any rights?
Is that a question you're asking me?
Yes, the other women in that prison, do they have any rights?
Of course.
Do they have the right not to have a 6'2" man who is a repeat serial rapist put in as their cellmate? Well, Judge Netburn, I'm going to continue on this line of questioning. In your court, what matters more, the rights of individuals or your political ideology?
I apply the law to the facts.
I asked a question, which matters more?
Well, my political ideology doesn't matter at all.
Okay, so I don't believe you. And I think this case demonstrates that you are willing to subjugate the rights of individuals to satisfy your political ideology. This case involves a male defendant who raped a 9-year-old boy. Was he guilty of that?
Yes, the petitioner pled guilty to that.
Okay, so he raped a 9-year-old boy. He also raped a 17-year-old girl. Was he guilty of that?
He pled guilty. The petitioner pled guilty to that crime as well.
So was he guilty?
I hope so, because she pled guilty to it.
He was a he when he did this.
Oh my gosh.
That's
okay,
correct.
Pause it. Okay. So, oh my gosh. So, this guy, I don't know if y'all caught that. This guy raped a 9-year-old, and I think he said someone else too. Pled guilty of raping 2 people at least, from what we heard so far. And this woman is so, like, he just asked her, Ted Cruz asked her a simple question: is your political ideology more or the law? Does that matter more? And she said, my political ideology doesn't matter at all. And then he asked her a question whether or not he was guilty of this. And then she said, quote, she was guilty of it. Meaning she was using his false pronouns of her, she, her. Because apparently this guy identifies as a woman. Okay? And so her political ideology obviously matters a lot to her, because look at her respecting this rapist pronouns. Okay? You cannot make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. She is so keen on her political ideology. Ted Cruz just did a great job exposing this stuff. So much to the point to where she's going to respect this rapist, which, by the way, should be put to death. Shouldn't even be in a prison cell at all. Throw that person in a holding cell by themselves. Solitary confinement, I don't care what it is. Throw away the key and let them rot there for all I care. Or keep them in the cell just so that you can have enough time to set up that however they execute people nowadays in whatever state that person is in. Okay? That's what should be happening to this person. This person shouldn't be having any respect as far as pronouns goes, and they shouldn't be sharing a cell with women, first of all. A serial rapist. What are we even saying right now? Anyway, keep going.
And also criminal deviant conduct, which the record doesn't disclose what that was exactly. Then, after serving in prison, Mr. McClain was released for parole, but then violated the terms of parole by having internet and was sent back to prison. 1 year after being released again, he was convicted of having child pornography. Is that correct?
I'm unclear on exactly the time frame that you're at, but the petitioner was convicted of distributing child pornography.
Child pornography that was images of adults violently raping children.
Abhorrent conduct.
Okay.
For which there are real victims.
And this individual, 6'2", biologically a man. A minute ago you said that when this man decided that he was a she, you said this individual was, quote, I wrote it down, sober and entirely a female. That phrase struck me as remarkable. Did this individual have male genitalia?
I think what I said, or at least what
that is a verbatim quote, entirely a female.
Sorry, what I meant to say was hormonally a female.
Okay, but that's not entirely. Did this individual have male genitalia?
Yes.
So you took a 6'2" serial rapist, serial child rapist with male genitalia, and he said, you know, I'd like to be in a women's prison. And your answer was, that sounds great to me. Let me ask you something. The other women in that prison, do they have any rights?
Pause it real quick. That man wasn't a female until he got convicted of rape. He didn't identify as a female until he got put in jail. Then he wanted to be put into a female cell. Then now all of a sudden he's a female. He wasn't a female when he was doing the you know what with his male genitalia to innocent people without their consent. I doubt he identified as a female then. But all of a sudden it's okay because you're a Democrat, because you're wokety woke, because you just have to conform to the gender stuff. It's okay now to put the 6'2" serial rapist male with male genitalia in a women's prison. That doesn't make any sense. And this woman claims that she doesn't care about her political ideology at all. That's absolutely ridiculous. She's a liar, and she needs to repent. She needs to repent. Simple. You know what I'm saying? This is evil. This is terrible. And it's a shame that Ted Cruz even has to press this woman on this. Keep going. I'm curious what she's going to say.
Is that a question you're
yes.
asking me?
The other women in that prison, do they have any rights?
Of course.
Do they have the right not to have a 6'2" man who is a repeat serial rapist put in as their cellmate?
Senator Cruz, I considered the facts presented to me, and I reached a decision based on what the law is.
I asked you a question. Do they have a right not to have a 6'2" man who is a serial rapist put in as their cellmate? Do those women have a right to that?
Every person who's incarcerated has the right to be safe in their space.
But you didn't think so. You didn't think so. And in fact, I'm going to give some quotes from your order because Senator Kennedy is right. This is not a judge's order. This is a political activist. By the way, the beginning of your order says, at birth, people are typically assigned a gender. I got to say that would astonish a lot of Americans. A lot of Americans think you go to the hospital, a baby is born, and congratulations, you have a little boy, a little girl. The assigned a gender, I know you went to Brown, but it sounds like it's in a college faculty lounge with no bearing on reality. The Bureau of Prison argued what I'm saying right now, that if you put this person in a female prison, there will be a risk of sexual assault to the women. And you know what you did? You said you didn't care about the women. I'm going to quote what you wrote. You wrote, quote, the Bureau of Prisons claim penological interest in protecting female prisoners from sexual violence and trauma. This interest is legitimate. That's kind of you to say. But there are no signs that petitioner is at risk of reoffending. The record is devoid of evidence of incidents of violence or assault during petitioner's incarceration when she was the perpetrator, only the victim. A theoretical risk of sexual assault by the prisoner without more cannot support the BOP's position. No evidence, theoretical. Have you dealt, in what universe is someone who is a serial repeat child rapist not at a risk of reoffending?
Senator, as I do in every case.
I know you've been told to repeat the line, I follow the law. I asked a question. In what universe is someone who is a serial repeat child rapist not at risk of reoffending?
Sir, I looked at the facts that were before me in this case. All of the evidence, including the statements of every warden who had supervised this petitioner.
You also wrote, the BOP also posits that permitting petitioner to live among women will be traumatizing and possibly dangerous to them. This concern is overblown. I have to say, if I were the father of one of those women, and you decided that my daughter's cellmate was going to be a 6'2" man who over and over and over again committed violent sexual assault, I would say the entire justice system is absurd, and it is clear on your record your political ideology matters a heck of a lot more than the rights of those women that you
pause it real quick.
endangered.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe what I'm hearing right now. This lady is so evil, bro. Like, she won't answer the question directly. She is just keen on her political ideology. She's a liar. A straight liar. She said that she looked at all the facts, and she literally, this is what she said, all the facts point to the supposed prisoner or whatever not being a repeat offender. When right before that, she was asked whether or not he repeatedly raped multiple children, and she said yes, the person was guilty of that. So how does the evidence point to this person not being a repeat sexual predator? That doesn't make any sense. It's the opposite of what she's saying, and it's sickening. Like this is the nonsense that gets people like me on the opposite side of the aisle. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, like, I used to be left leaning. A lot of people that I know used to be left leaning. You know, and the trick here is, and this is what Republicans should be really honing in on. The extremism of the left is what drives me away from them. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you guys want to get people to be more conservative, more Republican, just show clips like this. Show leftist Democrats like this. Corrupt judges who make rulings like this. And it works every time. There's no way you can be an objective leftist, okay, or a moderate, and look at this and be on her side at all. There's no way. There's zero possibility that that's possible. This lady is crazy, and I can't believe that people like this get away with stuff like this. Like, she mentioned the warden signed off on this or whatever, something like that. Get those wardens out of here. Get this judge out of here. These people have no place in any of these positions, if what she's saying is true. But I don't believe a word that comes out of her mouth at this point, because she's just blatantly lied multiple times up there. Anyway, let's finish this out.
I think you're a radical, and I think you have no business being a judge.
Oh, was that it? Okay, cool. Yeah, my bad. So, I mean, yeah, no business being a judge. Ted Cruz is absolutely right. Like I said, was that man a woman before he decided to switch his gender to go into the women's cell? No. Obviously not. He was a man. He's always been a man. He always will be a man. He's a male. And he's a sick male. Actually, matter of fact, I take back. He is no man. No man does stuff like that. Anyway, let me calm down. Let me calm down, y'all. But yeah, Ted Cruz hit the nail on the head. Comment down below, what do you guys think about this sick, disgusting, horrible case where a judge decides to put this guy, all because of her political ideology, decides to put this guy in a woman's cell, okay? And I'm curious what these women at the prison thought too. You know what I'm saying? When they probably looked and it was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? There's a dude up in here who claims to be a female. And I wonder what this guy looks like. I mean, I wonder if the guy actually transitioned and it kind of looks like a female, or if he's just like kind of pulling the whole Primetime 99 Alex Stein kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Puts on a wig and just yells and puts on a woman's voice. You know what I'm saying? I'm curious about that. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that video. We're going to talk about Harrison Butker here, the whole situation in a second. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, that was crazy.